Wow. Whether you are an FS trader or you are an index trader, share traders or commodity traders, you all have one thing in common. Even as a trader, there is something you have in common, and that is how to make money from the market. But here is the thing. There is no doubt all traders of all category, be swing trader, be medium term trader, or positional trader, we all look towards how to capture a big win trade in the market. You know what I'm talking about. Some of those wins that can double, triple, or even quadruple our trading capital. But it's something very, very important that if it is not done properly, the story might not be palatable, and that is position sizing. And of course, because trading is trading, be it FS trading, be it index trading, whatever form of trading it is a game of probability, and that is why there must be caution on the lot size to use. Any trade setup whatsoever can go wrong, so you must, as a trader, put the odd in your favor. So you must rightly size your position trade before you ever place them, before it arrives. And that is why it is important you take this into consideration.
Wow, this is another exciting series, and we're looking at ATR. ATR is one of the major indicators that is being used to predict what the volatility in the market. And the name ATR is average true range. So the market volatility is measured with this wonderful indicator. And away from the market volatility talks about the activity that is currently ongoing in the market. This talks about the strength. How ATR does not measure direction. I repeat, ATR does not measure the direction of a trade. You could see that reverse is the case here. As the market is coming down, that is, as the candlestick is selling, busy selling, coming down, what happens to the ATR? The ATR keeps climbing up, up, up. So it's worth to note that ATR does not measure direction of the market. It only measures the volatility of the market. So how do we now, how do we calculate amount of risk per trade? How does this ATR help us to do that? But before we go into that, let's look at how to calculate amount of risk per trade. This is money management. And this is where a lot of people are failing when it comes to trading, be it CFD, contract for difference, be it stocks, whatever thing represents, or you are trading crypto. This aspect, if this aspect is really missing out, or you are doing it wrongly, you are bound to lose money, and you are bound to become unprofitable trader, or better still, to be part of the trader that blow their accounts on several occasions. Now, best money management is to risk only 2% of your trading account per trade. You are not risking more than 2% of your trading account. Like I usually tell people, the reason you come back, the market is always open 5 days a week. The reason why you will come back tomorrow to trade is if your account is still intact. If your account is still intact, that is, you still have money, in your account, you can come back tomorrow to trade. But if by the reason of emotion and greed, by reason of your emotion, greed, fear, get rich quick mindset made you risk more than necessary and you blew up your account, what happened? Tomorrow the market will open, but you won't come to open a trade. Why? Because there is no capital to trade with. That is why I keep telling people trading is marathon, not sprint. So, and you need to do it with caution. So at every point in time, you ensure that you are not risking more than 2% of your trading capital. Then let's see how that play out. Now, if your trading account is $5,000, your risk per trade will be 2%. The 2%, if you say 2 divided by 100, you are still going to have 0. You have this 0.02 multiplied by $5,000. So your risk amount per trade will then be $100. It will be $100. Okay, that means at this time you are risking $100 out of the amount you have in your trading account. So it simply means as a trader, you want to open a new trade, you are risking $100. So how to read ATR value? How do we read the value that the ATR represents? For JPY PAIRS, we usually say this, you see 0 point, then after the 0 point, you have 3 values. It could be 0, 1, 2, or whatsoever. But one thing you must know is that the last digit is a pippete, so we don't regard it. And that is why it is, I deliberately use another color for it. So for me, the value of this ATR is not 725 pips, it's just 72 pips. 72 pips. That is what counts. The pipette has no value, it's not counted. Now for other pairs like USD, GBP, New Zealand, Kiwi, and the rest of them, after the decimal point, we usually have 5 digits. So the only one that are of value are the 4 digits. That is this. The last digit is also a pipette and we disregard it. It is disregarded. So we do not regard it. So for me, for the value of this ATR is 34 pips. The value of this ATR is 34 pips. So how then do we calculate our stop loss? Our stop loss shall be 2 multiply the ATR value. What that means is if ATR value is 70 pips, then our stop loss is going to be 2 times 70, which equals to 140 pips. It means 40 pips is our stop loss. So what that simply means that if you are placing buy, then we need to remove 140 pips from the entry. We are entering buy. Now, if we are entering sell, we need to add 140 pips to our entry. That gives us our stop loss. Okay, how then do we calculate our take profit? Very, very important. Now, take profit 1, that is our TP1, shall be our stop loss value using risk to reward ratio 1 to 1. 1-to-1. So in the example of 140 pips we've calculated, we can now see that if our stop loss is 140 pips, then our take profit 1 must be 140 pips as well. Then our TP2 must be 280 pips, that is 2 multiply the first our 140 pips, that gives you 280 pips. Then TP3 will be 320 pips. Still the same, 3 multiply the R, the first R, which is our take profit 1. Then TP4 in that order, that we refer to that as multiple R, multiple of R. So it depends. As the trend keeps going, you keep moving with the trend. Okay, this is very, very important. You need to pay very good attention here. Position sizing. This is where a lot of people make a lot of hell of mistakes. Because at this point, somebody says, oh, I'm risking $100. If you are risking $100, what does that mean to you? What then should be your lot size? How do we calculate our lot size, the lot size to use per trade? Of course, you cannot just say, oh, for my account, for every trade I place, I'm always using 0.4, 0.5. That is absolutely wrong, absolutely wrong. It is your HAR value that will tell you what exactly should be the position, your lot size to be used for that trade. Now, here is the formula. The lot size equals to risk amount. In this case, from the example we've done, we are only risking $100. Then, what is our stop loss? The value of our stop loss multiplied by 10. That is, our risk amount will be divided by stop loss multiplied by 10. And that will give us what our loss size should be for this trade. Now, let's look at it. The value of our stop loss is 140 pips. So meaning we are risking, the amount we are risking per trade is $100, and that is the 2% of $5,000 we calculated earlier on. So the loss size is going to be 100, which is this, over 140 pips is our stop loss, times 10 equals to 0.07. So what that simply means is, if we are taking a position, we want to open this trade, the lot size to use is 0.07. Oh, there is omitted E here. So it should be lot size to use. Okay, lot size to use for the trade is 0.07. No more, no less. So here is the golden rule. You can only have 5 running trades per time. On each trade, you risk just 2%. I come again. You can only have 5 running trades per time. And on each trade, you risk just 2%. So at every point in time, you only risk 10% of your account size. What this simply means is, I have 5 trades running, and on each of them, I'm risking only 2%. It simply means that if I have 5 trades running, I have risked 10% overall. Overall, I've risked 10%, which will be, in this case, which will be $500 that I'll be risking for the 5 positions that I have running. So that is what it means. So at no point, before I consider entering another trade, one of the trade must have hit my take profit or is on break even. Then that simply means that for that trade, I'm no longer risking that if the trade eventually move back to hit my break-even point, I'm already in profit. It is at that point you consider opening another position, so that at every point in time, only 10% of your account that is being risked. So now we're going to open live chart to see example of ATR in action. Okay, yeah, this is a live chart and this is Euro USD. And you can see from here, this is the ATR. This is how the ATR look like. It's not that too fancy indicator, but I must tell you, the work it does is far, far, far better than any other indicator you have out there. So in this now you see we have 0.00583. This particular 3 here is pippete, so it's not counted. Therefore, the value of this ATR is 58 pips. The value of this ATR is 58 pips. Now, let's look at another pair that had JPY, that is Japanese yen. Okay, yeah, this is Japanese yen, USD JPY. Then you look at it. You see the value, the appearance of the value of ATR here is quite different from what you see in Euro USD. Here, after the decimal point, we have 5 figure. But on this case, after the decimal point, we just have only 3 figure. And we've said the last digit here is the pippete. It is not regarded. So here we have 96. Therefore, the value of this ATR is 96 pips. So the ATR is such an important indicator that you must have it at every point in time in your chart. Don't ever even consider opening any trade, no matter how tempting the trade will look like, without consulting what the ATR have to say. So we'll talk to you again on another section of this program. Thanks for listening.